Hello. So the nightmare. Yeah, see now it's taking me 2 days to get to level 10. I'm still not there yet. There's not a better place to do this shit though. Like, weren't there Westfall, Hogger? I guess in all reality, man, you probably level just walking there. Oh yeah, I can't do a Christopher. Cannot do a Christopher Walken impersonation. So I watched Little Brother with John Cena and Eric Andre, and that was actually pretty funny. And then I watched half of Clerks 2, and I got antsy and decided to do something else for the afternoon, and watch the rest of it later. But I think the Christian crypto, what was the thing? Christian crypto club is going to be popular. I think it's going to be a smash success. Oh look, I got two of these things. I didn't realize that we had two pigs to kill. Oh fuck. Jerry? Please, I need another help. Oh, we got a tank. Oh fuck, wrong person. Oh my god, thank you, kind sir, for fucking saving the day. His name is Mystery. Oh, I see. Super clever. Very clever name. Thanks for the rescue. Mystery. It's a mystery to me. Where do you turn the thing in at? A night elf. What are you doing all the way here? I'm freaking 12. We got all the way from the where do we turn this in at? Princess must die. Bring it to Ma Stonefield at the Stonefield farm. All on the other side of town here. Yeah, this is the lamest fucking thing ever. The point being, though, I was gonna do a druid, do a boomkin druid, because our guild doesn't have a boomkin druid, and I thought 5% crit might be helpful for some people, but turns out, I'd rather play Shadow Priest, because we're always down a Shadow Priest, you know. I'm not trying to back down from my mage position at all, because I won't, but the idea that if I play on an alt or something, you know, if they do gruels and all that, if I don't need anything on my mage, I'd rather parse on my mage because I enjoy doing it, but if they're gonna keep fucking giving the other guy everything and then I have like nothing and go like, well, see, this is why we gave him all, like, we watched there for weeks and weeks where it was neck and neck and I was ahead on a. I know we discussed this ad nauseum, right? But god damn it, all my friends are getting married, right? Fucking nut. Because what does he say? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And all my friends are getting married. We're almost level 9, 10. We're almost level 10. And I could get one of my real life friends to try and run me through level 1. He's playing a level 1? 1, eh? Oh, we gotta get reset. We had reset today's. We need to get games in sometime this week. People like say YOLO 5s or whatever.
Well met. Safe travels. Have a good one.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Nothing. People just being people. God damn it. Where on earth? Let's just go to Westfall. Remember, we're already all the way here. Hogger. Wanted Hogger. Looking for a group. This is like a famous quest. Where's Hogger? Can't kill him by yourself. They're looking for group. Looking for group Q, right? meters. Where do I get the oats from? Good God, it takes fucking forever.
Need help? See you around. Be careful. Farewell. Be careful. What can I do for you? Safe travels.
As long as it has nothing to do with me, yeah. I can't say I don't give a shit, but oh my God, look at my map, dude. Fucking all this shit everywhere.
Too far away. What's that?
No.
That's still recharging. My mana is low.
Flask of oil. I don't have any mana. I don't have anything to drink. It's like the fucking Overlook Hotel. It's like the Overlook Hotel, right? Oh no! Are you a fucking mean guy? Why are you able to attack me? Really? Oh, it's right. This is a. I thought this was a fucking mean guy. Level 70 runs up and fucking mine. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Really? Westfall, of all places? Like, are you. You're gonna seriously camp somebody at level 9? Are you fucking kidding me? Really? Real fucking awesome of you. I didn't even know I was flagged for combat. How the fuck did I get. Oh, because I buffed that guy or something? God damn it. Fuck. Where'd the fucking bird come from last time? Where do I get some water? God damn it. Same shit as last time. I am so fucking terrible at this. Out of the middle of nowhere, I looked around, made sure there's nothing in 100 miles each direction. I'm fucking terrible at leveling. Or the oats. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Leave me alone, please, of all things. Like the amount of shit that I've had to go through, dude. I hate this shit, basically. God damn it.
How are you?
I'm leveling a priest. That thing's level 13. I'm level 9. If I only had a few more kills. Okra. Okra Winfrey. Got hop. I got everything I need to make beer. That one guy there dropped hops and everything else. I'm going to sit here, watch my mana regen for a minute. Guess I'll be right back. These are rough, man. I wish. Where do I get a goddamn stack of water from? You kill like a whole shitload more of these things. Teenage Mutant Ginger Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ginger Turtles, bro. That's pretty funny. Teenage Mutant Ginger Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ginger Turtles. Look at that fire wand. Does that mean that my shoot wand thing should be better than melee, right? For casters, it should be. Do more damage with that for sure. Wanding. Hey, look at that. Look at that there. Let's see how hard it hits. I need to level my wand though. Oh no. This is not the place to level your wand. There it is. It hits pretty hard though. wand is super helpful. It's like more damage than the smite and doesn't cost any mana. I think Kyle was telling me about that. It's like imp wand or something for leveling. Lucky that fire wand dropped. That thing's super helpful for leveling. I never would have guessed that. Looking for a handful of oats. Mean pigs. God damn it. And a fucking vulture. Cool. Just looking for oats, guys. These are like level way higher. These are level 14s. We should wait. There we are, level 10s. Oh my god, I got my first point. Improved wand, that's gotta be better. That's what Kyle said. Shit. Oh, he fucking had a sprint. God damn it. Well, well, why can't I use a scroll of spirit? Farm the light feathers. I just want the times right, man. This, whatever it is, man. The thing that's bothering me. God damn it. That's all. Can't it ever just stop? For the love of God, you know what I mean? Like I put myself through enough as it is. I don't need anybody's help. Trust me. Where is the next thing at? These are fucking level 15s. I, why can't I get my mind on the right fucking where I'm supposed to be headed here? Vulture meat. wonder what that is, dude. Why on earth is it doing that?
It's too far away. That's the only thing. I can see it. Inventory is full.
This is way better for leveling than the other thing. Whether it is or isn't, it seems like at least I'm like achieving something by doing this. Oh shit.
That's the only target. I can see it. That's the only target.
I am the best in the world at World of Warcraft.
Easy. Inventory is full.
God, this could be a far more entertaining thing, couldn't it?
I can see it.
I wish I knew how this all how this all pans out, right? Wish I knew, man. I wish I knew. I wish I knew how any of it was going, really. one thing that does kind of concern me, and it's good for me regardless, but it isn't as good, you know. But like, there's already the thing is like there's already like somewhat established crypto AIs, right, that have like far more, not to say institutional, but more support from like where it's necessary to make big things happen, you know. Um, like Griffin and all that. It's a great AI, don't get me wrong, but the idea is like trying to compete with someone that's got it together that to that degree is kind of rough, you know, especially if you're like, well, we're kind of trying to find ourselves and really figure out how this shit works, and um, it's stiff competition, you know, it really is. The thing is, what I would hate to see is that, well, all these things that couldn't make it, you know what I mean, and not necessarily through any fault of their own, just like launching early instead of later, doing it, you know, I can't say I don't know for sure what the motives are for launching when Leah did, but if there's any, you know what I mean, other than just like, well, that was the time to try and get ready for shit, I guess, you know. And Pump Fun, launching on Pump Fun because that's the only place that could do it, you know. The other shit requires like um, the amount of like corporate institutional adoption before the thing even starts, you know, and funding and things that you need to make something that the level of quality that Griffin has requires there to be more like hands-on kind of, say, people with a wide knowledge base contributing in some way, shape, or form to something. You know what I mean? Because the shit's like expensive to keep up and running. I'm sure. Uh, if I had to guess, it's more expensive than just like what someone would be able to basically afford living on their own, trying to self-fund their you know their passion, whatever. That being said, as much as I don't necessarily agree with everything on Pump Fun, I'm glad the thing exists though, because all it takes is a few instances of people using it the right way to set an example for all of the terrible shit that takes place, and then some active measure on behalf of Pump Fund to try and weed out the bad apples at some point in time and keep them off the platform. And I don't think uh, it's not something, you know what I mean? I don't think that anybody would be unappreciative of that approach versus like, okay, well, you know, with freedom comes, you know, whatever Batman's dad said or whatever the fucking Peter Parker's dad or whatever. Yeah, not necessarily that directly, but that type of philosophy that you can't really fucking sit there and say that it's not a helpful tool to have. You just wish more people used it the right way, and maybe there were more like stopgap measures coded into the platform to prevent people from being shisty. But I hate to not to say like, but I hate to be the one to say it, but I guess this is, you know, everybody, the elephant in the room is that, well, everybody knows that the bad actors on Pump Fund generate a majority of its revenue, and that's shitty. You know what I mean? And like, how do you? It's just one of those things, right? Without getting involved and without having like an opinion about it. Like, and don't get me wrong, if there's a level of orchestration or coercion, or not coercion, but like cohorting and stuff, and like playing the shit behind the scenes from the developers at Pump Fun, yeah, I would be extremely pissed off, dude. It would bother me to no end. But I haven't seen that yet. Like I said the other day, I have no tangible proof of that. Sometimes people like, and if you look at the guy that created the thing, he's got more critics than anybody. You know, um, given that he decided to burn the Pump Fund token versus do an airdrop, right? So at some point in time, it may seem that way, but like he's got more critics than anybody because you know the crowd at Pump Fund that really just all they give a shit about is how to milk as much money out of something for themselves and fucking fuck everybody over. And I can't help but think, well, I can't help but sit there and say that, well, of all the things I've seen there, there is a few things that are legitimate, you know, and I haven't necessarily dug super deep because I'm not necessarily looking for just anything. I'm looking for something like super very specific because I've got some kind of understanding of the importance of the technology that I am looking for, you know what I mean? And I did find that with Leah. I have some background with that kind of thing in the past, and I've kind of that's kind of where my sights are set. Whereas like people that are just trying to make a dollar in crypto, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, but if that's all you're here for, then like maybe somewhere else might be better for you. I mean, there's probably better ways to do it, but the thing is that I have yet to see that level of technology anywhere else. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I didn't see it anywhere else. You know what I mean? I couldn't find it anywhere else, so I was that surprised when I found it. Can't say I've been searching, far and wide for years and years, but I mean, I'm familiar with the technology. I've worked with something similar in the past, and when I seen that the problems that the thing had solved was pretty impressive. So I don't really know what point I was trying to make, but some Murloc eyes. The thing is though, is that yeah, but I'm glad it exists because if you get one or two, and I hope more than two, like super duper success stories from Pump Fund, then uh, you can really see that they like a season of like a revival kind of thing where like the things that actually, for better or worse, did shit the right way and stuck it through regardless of the market conditions and all that, versus the people that closed up shop and skipped town the first opportunity that they had, when like all reasonable expectations to fulfill your obligations as a developer were at least attempted to be met, you know, you can't necessarily fault somebody for that, if they really did try and really do try and really are trying versus like, well, we gave it the most half-assed attempt that a human possibly could muster, knowing that all we had to do was give it that just one real kind of like, didn't really try at all, just enough to pay lip service to people, right? And there are people that do that kind of thing, and I can sit there and say that, like as much as people say the trenches, I don't even know what that is really. Like scoping out meme coins and all that shit. Yeah, I have no fucking clue what that's about. But I know as far as what I'm familiar with, the trenches were like every goddamn day for just the work we've been doing for like the last year or so now. And god damn it. And I don't necessarily know if that qualifies as trench work or whatever they call it, the kids these days, right? Because it's not traditional, like, oh, well, researching, which I don't understand, dude. Like, it's such a foreign concept to me. Where do you think these things, like, how is it not just some big insider network of people that know people and not anything to do with, like I said, if you try to sit there and explain to your goddamn grandparents that, like, oh, well, we're gonna invest your social security check into cat meme coins this quarter, grandma, because the cat narrative is really strong and the dog narrative is kind of going to the wayside or whatever. Like, do you not know how ridiculous that sounds? You know what I mean? That sounds really like fucking ridiculous, doesn't it? But that's like a majority of how it works. I'm like, and you mean to tell me that I'm supposed to believe that that's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it works. You've somehow figured out this system and you've made like, you're the pinball wizard and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I wouldn't believe it if you told me. I'd be like, there's got to be something. Where's the fucking strings? Where's the whatever they call it in magic terms, right? Where's the smoke and mirrors, right? But with like actual technologies and things like that, no, I understand that. I understand their purpose and where value is and everything, and especially given the fact that I know how difficult the problem that was solved here actually was. But you would like to see more success from Pump Fund. I forget how I got off on that tangent. I was thinking of something in mind. I'm kind of tired, but I was like, I wanted to make a point, but I forget where. Oh, the thing is like, yeah, it's like, well, really, Pump Fund is what a user interface that's stylized to use a smart contract to launch tokens. You're like, so it removes like one step from the process or a couple steps from the process from minting your own token on a blockchain. You're like, well, and then they add the fucking exchangeable, all this other stuff. You're like, but at the end of the day, you can do all of these things with Solana. So why wouldn't the argument be made that Solana is the problem and not Pump Fund? It's like, why? Because Pump Fund has made it easier for people to do. I'm like, well, you can't necessarily fault somebody for making something easier. You can fault the people for what they do with it, but to say that the developers, unless they've, like I said, unless they've somehow orchestrated like some sort of market manipulation or control where they shouldn't, or where they shouldn't, where it would, I guess, constitute breaking the law. Like, yeah, I get that, but you can't necessarily say just because, because we're going to end up in the same argument that they did with Ross Ulbricht. The only difference is the platform is not explicitly designed to facilitate criminal activity. People use it for that, like, oh, well, just like they use the internet, just like they use all these other technologies to do the exact same thing. So the argument kind of falls apart. So the only thing that I see, if there is anything, is if there's some level of like people being complicit in the criminal activity on the developer side. But if they've created a legitimate launch platform and people misuse it, you cannot fault them for it. You know what I mean? Um, at least I would not want to be on a jury. I would want to be on that jury, to be honest. I would want to be on that jury because I would think that if I could explain to the rest of the jurors that kind of thing. But the point is yeah, that's the thing though, is like this is not a Ross Ulbricht scenario where a platform explicitly designed to facilitate criminal activity, just like the internet, just like PayPal is used to pay drug dealers all over planet Earth, I'm sure, or PayPal is used to engage in human trafficking. It's like it's the most legitimate payment platform on the planet, yet all these things happen. You can't necessarily fucking kick down Elon's door every time someone does something wrong with the internet of all things, right? And I think to a lesser degree, but an equally as important argument can be made in defense of Pump Fund if there ever is some sort of accusation. Now, at the end of the day, though, the problem really is, like I said, if there's a level of complicity, what is the word here, right? Coercion or whatever you want to call it, on behalf of like the developers or something. And like I've said, I've got no reason to think that. It wouldn't be good if it were, you know what I mean? Because I'd be on the list of people directly being fucked by these people, and I wouldn't like that, and they sure as shit wouldn't like that. So, but I've got no reason to think that. I'm just saying devil's advocate position here. And even then, Ross got a goddamn pardon from, right, after all of that, Ross still got pardoned, right? Okay, so, right, you're like, yeah, pick and choose your battles wisely. There's plenty of shitheads out there to find, you don't have to, you don't have to go picking on people. Because all my friends are getting married. But these are the arguments. Now, you can say, though, more often than not with a new technology, and not that the Pump Fund's like the next version of the internet or anything, but it is a new technology or a new application of a previous existing technology, where the government tries to reside is finding where people's ignorance are and then and this is what I'm familiar with their tactics. Trust me, they'll try and find people that are ignorant of these things, and they will rewrite the definition of words that we've all accepted as their common definition as in the dictionary, right? And they'll say, well, in a legalese sense, so like, we want you to toss this dictionary that we spent 12 years cramming all of this information into your head we called public education. We want you to throw that in the garbage, and we will hand you this new dictionary. You just picked it up today. You've never heard these words before or anything. And we will tell you what the words mean now. And even then, they aren't necessarily honest about it either. They choose words that sound, what's the term here? They'll choose words that sound spooky even if they aren't. Like they'll say scheme without actually saying scam, because scam implies like they're making an allegation of some sort of criminal activity. But they'll use a word like scheme, because everybody remembers schemes from like the Three Stooges, like this thing they weren't supposed to be doing or whatever, getting into some sort of mischief or or whatever. So when the government tries to, if I'm not talking anything in particular, just in general, kind of, my experience with them, when they're coming up with their scheme, right, basically, right, they do try to like cherry pick and use words that just sound worse, like Puerto Rican. They'll say like Puerto Rican instead of like whatever, South American or whatever. No, they really do, and they'll craft their entire argument. And just know, if you're educated enough on what just the words they're using means, don't accept their definition, because they're trying to talk out of both sides of their face at some point in time if they do any of this shit. And they just do, man. Trust me, the government is just as egregious as anybody when it comes to that kind of thing. And they will like basically try to play on at first your ignorance, if you're in defense of yourself or whatever, and then if they get it past that point, they'll try and play on a jury's ignorance by using these same tactics, right? And it's like, well, it's a lot easier to convince a jury by using words that sound worse than what they are, that something terrible has taken place, when in reality they're trying to talk around the subject versus, you know what I mean? So they'll try and do both of these things, and it starts off with them using it against you, and then if they get past the initial phase of that, then they'll use that same tactic against a jury when informing them or explaining to them in the process during and after the fact, or before, like a grand jury, they'll kind of explain the shit like this, I'm sure. Um, yeah, I've had to give grand jury testimony and shit before, not on behalf of myself, but in regards to somebody else. And these are the tactics that the government uses when doing that kind of thing. They'll have these like, basically, like I said, they'll try and put emphasis on these words that sound scary, but if you just know the definition, you realize that they're just trying to make things sound worse than what they are, right? Like in regards to John, at one point in time, they were consistently using what word were they using? Compound. They kept saying it's compound. I'm like, you're trying to make this into something that, you know what I mean? Like, they kept calling it a compound, like goddamn Waco and Ruby Ridge, and I'm like, you guys, please God, right? Like, the last thing I need is to be like, how the fuck end up responsible for one of these things, right? A goddamn mass casualty event could be, and I'm like, all right, it's not a compound, right? I'm like, I do my best as much as I can, but like, you're not. Even if I don't like the guy, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and try to convince somebody it's something that it isn't. It never got to that stage, but early on, like preliminaries and stuff, they really did try to get like, well, let's go ahead and stick with these words. And I'm like, why? Because they sound worse. And in no uncertain terms, the FBI was like, yeah, yeah, that's why. They didn't say that exactly, but pretty much like. So that's how I became familiar with that tactic. And I mean, sometimes it's warranted and sometimes it's not. But I'm familiar with, and then they were saying it in the schemes, and I'm like, well, you're saying the word schemes, right? And that's a play on another word, schema, and there's no real negative connotation if you read the dictionary equivalent of it, right? And they weren't giving me well, this is what we say it means kind of things. It was just one of those words they were trying to put into the verbiage or whatever. So less educated people, or not to say stupid, but people that don't necessarily know the textbook definition of that word specifically would think, oh, they're implying that they're doing something wrong. I'm like, no, a scheme's like a schematic, like how you fix your car kind of thing. It doesn't have to be negative if you read the definition version of it, the textbook definition of it. So, I mean, they did try, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like to condemn me. It was more or less to get me. But I always felt like, even if I don't like this guy, I don't want to sit there like, you think I'm stupid, right? I don't like that either. And I have to sit here and pretend like you aren't trying to rewrite the definition of this word to meet your narrative. Like, come on now. Even if I don't like somebody, I like to at least be fair, you know. As much as I don't like John, I could have said a whole bunch of shit. You know what I mean? Accusations that weren't true. No one tried to throw him under the bus. I'm like, I didn't have to make anything up. The guy had done enough to put himself in jeopardy or whatever. The idea though that like we need to build up the narrative that he lived in like an armored fortress with like, but I mean, he, not to the degree that they were trying to make it, but I get it. Like calling it a compound implies like I think of Waco and Ruby Ridge, right? No, he did live a life of like, you know, security guards there all the time. He had a gate over his door. Like if you ever go to the mall and they've got like those big clanky kind of um, what are they called? Like corrugated steel like gates, so like garage doors that you put over shop fronts. So like at night in like a mall, right? He had one of those over his bedroom door and over the back of the exit of his room, right? So in case ninjas attacked or whatever the fucking reason was. So I mean, it was fortified. It was fortified, you know, 4 or 5 people armed at all times. About 150 cameras everywhere. Maybe not that many, but a whole shitload of cameras and a whole bunch of cameras that people didn't even know about, I'm sure. And armed guards, trucks, not armored cars, but like reinforced kind of like cars with like ramming batteries in the front of them and shit, right? So to say that, but the compound word, I believe, like, and maybe that's just me, dude. I don't know. They weren't making me say it though. They weren't going to get me to say it because I'm like, I don't want to make this out to be something that it's not. Because at some point in time, like all these words in the warrant they got to raid Waco and Ruby Ridge, like didn't they, you know, like strong words led to a warrant that was maybe not as warranted as people might have thought it should have been based on what they said they seen or what they said they found or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I don't necessarily want my name on that kind of thing. So you can call it that. I'm going to call it, you know, whatever. But so we left it there pretty much when it came down to it. Like, you guys are more than welcome to, but you're not going to get me to say it, kind of things. That's like trying to be proof like fair. You know what I mean? Try and be fair. They didn't fucking exaggerate nothing. Like you don't need to exaggerate anything with the guy. Just tell the truth, right? You've had a pretty crazy life. It seems like it's always something, but really it's been like years and years since anything interesting, and I kind of like it that way. But um, cross my fingers, it remains that way, right? Yeah, but they were really trying to ratchet. That's why I don't like them trying to ratchet things up like that. I'm like, yeah, this is how fucking. Because I know at some point in time when I was younger, somebody sat in a goddamn grand jury room or whatever, and they ratcheted up things about me, and then it ended up being this paramilitary raid on my home and stuff. Like right after I turned 18 years old, and I'm like, this shit is not justified, man. This shit's not right. You know, and it was done basically because a part of one of these counties had a bloated budget and wanted to pad their numbers. So they made something out to be that wasn't, so that way whatever amount of force necessary was justifiable. And come on now, everybody knows shit bullshit when they see it, right? But it's one of those things where it's a psychological tactic that not just the government, but you know, the law enforcement stuff engage in by the theater of it all, right? Like, oh, now your neighbors see this and they know what a bad guy you are, and they get to talking, and then, you know, like it's their way of basically stacking the jury box before anything even starts is the court of public opinion, you know. And then your regular, oh no, honey, you know, country bumpkin person's like, they wouldn't be doing all that if they didn't need to, right? You're like, you're fucking stupid, you know. And you're guilty before you even get there because of the show that the government put on. Yeah, that's fucked. I don't agree with it. And in the name of being fair, because I'm like, well, if someone's really done something wrong, you don't necessarily need all of that theatrics around it, do you? No, not really. Pointing out that to a large degree, the government appears to be the one engaging in criminal behavior or criminal tactics in some way, shape, or form. you know the type of people that are like all about basically worshiping the government and whatever the government says goes kind of thing. This is quite the grind. It's taking fucking forever. Trying to get these pig's livers, but it's taking fucking forever. Yeah, so I would say if you ever get to where they're using words that just sound worse than what they are, get a dictionary. And I wouldn't say that it's ever. Why not just teach the legalese dictionary if it's the only fucking thing that matters? Then, right? At the end of the day, why even waste time? You know, it sounds like George Orwell something or another to me. You know, toss your fucking regular textbook in the trash, and here we'll give you a new one. Is there a vendor here? God damn it. Oh, we do have a vendor. Uh-huh. You have any water? He does have water, actually. Can you repair? It seems like I had more quests done than that. Now, like, did I vendor some of the shit I needed to do the quest? Yeah. But that's the thing, like, I'm like, if something happens and the amount of force that they're trying to gussy up the speech with, right? Like, the amount of justifiable force for this kind of thing becomes like way higher when you start using this strong language. And I'm like, if they end up with a goddamn Waco or Ruby Ridge and my name's on any of the fucking paperwork in regards to how it got there, if it weren't 100% necessary, then I would feel terrible. So I told him, you can call it that, like, but I'm calling it a house, right? You can call it that. And as much as he wanted people to think that he lived in like an armored compound, and he did to some degree or whatever, but I wouldn't call it a compound, right? A compound implies some sort of fortification on the outside to me, and it didn't have that. So you might look up online what the actual textbook definition of a compound is compared to like just a regular dwelling or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't necessarily fortified. It didn't have a fucking moat or a drawbridge or anything, as much as if he would have, you know. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not calling it that, but you guys can. Because I'm like, then you go to the next room, and then you're saying the same thing about me, right? And I'm like, I'm not engaging in this practice. I'm not engaging in this practice. Nope. You guys are more than welcome to do it. I don't look, I don't commend you for it, but whatever. Because it's bad juju, man. It's bad karma and all that stuff. Hey there. From the People's Militia. Do you want to help me kill this fucking thing? That reminds me though. My friend Victor, the guy that I told you from the Wolf of Wall Street, he's in that. He did actually tell me that whenever one of these times the FBI agents were interviewing him, he's like, "Yeah, I reached across the table, I started eating the guy's food." How funny is that? I was thinking about that guy earlier. There's a scene in the movie about it. No, that actually happened. Like, yeah, I ate that guy's lunch. Type of get fucked attitude that guy has, right? I try not to be that way sometimes, but sometimes you need it though. That's one of those things. As much as I don't like to be the type of guy that's got that real like cutthroat type A kind of just blood in the cutthroat mentality about stuff. I learn a lot from people like that though, without necessarily trying to be like them. But I like a more laid back kind of lifestyle, if at all possible, right? But he's like, yeah, I ate that guy's lunch. That's pretty funny. It actually did happen. But here's the secret. Not to say a secret, but like uh, as much as that movie was like those guys were all at each other's throats and adversaries and stuff, the FBI is those guys' biggest fans on planet Earth, and don't ever let them convince you otherwise because those guys were as much a part of the fucking doing cocaine off strippers' tits and stuff mentality after that movie than anybody. I guarantee it. They're as much a they're like they think they're as much a part of the team as Jordan Belfort himself. You know what I mean? They really do. Because that book and the movie that came after the fact did as much to make the FBI famous as that book and movie did for Jordan Belfort and the guys, right? So there's no way on earth, and you're not selling me that shit, dude. I'm telling you. Tell me, oh yeah, well, the FBI is like this, or they're a bunch of Boy Scouts. Those guys were as ravenous as any of those people were, even worse, I'm sure. You know, during, before, after the fact, right? And that's like, I say a secret. I'm like, anyone with common sense can tell you that, but you know, those guys seen themselves as much a part of the crew as even Jordan Belfort himself was, you know. So that is kind of how it works, you know. Unfortunately, or fortunately for Jordan, I'm sure he probably appreciates it. He probably appreciates it, right? Uh, the thing is, though, is I've never met Jordan. I've never actually talked to him, but one of the other guys from the movie, yeah, I'm relatively good friends with. Um, the thing is though is like you got the impression after all this shit happened, I got the impression just from dealing with some of these similar, you know, investigatory bodies and all that stuff, that they were like as much as they were as much a part of the crew as the guys that actually did the shit. They really were, you know, in a lot of ways. The theatrics of it, right? That's why I always I always call Cash Patel. I call him the Pakistani Jordan Belfort because he kind of looks like one of the guys in from the movie. This Pakistani Jordan Belfort, right? But don't get it twisted, man. That's exactly how it is. I'm not a fool. No, I never had a chance to actually talk to or meet Jordan, but I'm sure at some point in time I will. He thinks he's a nut. Yeah. He thinks he's a nut. The thing is, like, I always equate it to, and I don't play Grand Theft Auto much, but I'm like, how many stars have you gotten in real life? You know, I've gotten 5 stars in real life on one occasion. God damn it, dude! Like everything besides no, they did the army. They dispatched the army on one of these occasions. I swear to God. I swear to God, no, they sent the fucking army in one time. Yes, they did. I was staying at a hotel. I'll explain how this all got there at some point in time, but for now, just believe me, please. I'm not making this shit up. I was staying at a hotel. I'm not going to say who I called or anything, but I called somebody, and then, like, 2 days later, I'm like, where did all these people go? I was staying in a hotel, and there was, like, like 5-story hotel. And I'm like, cars in the parking lot everywhere, dude. The place is full of people traveling. It's right off the highway and all that stuff. And I'm like, I called somebody, I called a friend, and I'm like, didn't get a response, didn't expect one, you know. And then, like, I started noticing that the cars in the parking lot just disappeared. Like, all the cars, like, the army, of all people, had rented every room in the hotel that was available. And I was, like, the only person left. And they had done this. They had picked that hotel of all places, like a day or two later, to do a COVID vaccine training drill or whatever. So the next day, I go downstairs to eat breakfast, and there's like army guys and girls, as far as the eye can see, all eating chow like a goddamn army military, like a military base. And I'm like, the only person not in fatigues. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I swear to God. And there was this, and then I remember though, I was obsessed with Rick and Morty at the time, right? There was a doctor that was a female, and I don't know her name, but she was wearing a lab coat like Grandpa Rick. And her assistant was another female, and her assistant's last name was Sanchez. Like Grandpa Rick, right? So I shit you not, dude. I'm not making this stuff up. And then the head doctor over the entire thing was this Indian guy. I swear, not making it up, 100% true story. And that wasn't coincidence. I already know that wasn't coincidence, because what happened before and after, you would say, yeah, that's so. Yeah, I had 5 stars at some point in time. I wasn't in trouble with them. But yeah, I was in trouble with somebody, but I was like, I had a good reason for it. So at the end of the day, I fucking unscathed somehow. But yeah, no, they sent in the fucking army, just like in Grand Theft Auto. When you get 5 stars, they didn't dispatch a tank, but then again, true story, bro. Wouldn't make it up. Couldn't. Why? I couldn't. I'll explain further at some later point in time what the fuck happened. But for now, yeah, there was, and then first before I get down to chow, there's for breakfast, I say chow. Some used to calling it from prison, but I guess that's what they call it in the military. I They wouldn't let me join the military. Period. And not that I wanted to either, but because of my record and stuff from when I was a kid. Uh, yeah, they weren't gonna let me do any of that shit. But, god damn it. Can you guys reset, please? Thank you. Where did all these? I woke up one day. I'm like the day before, and I can't. Like, I'll tell eventually the story, but the someone had told me something like years before. They're like, if you ever get in a bind to do this kind of thing, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, sounds like reasonable logic, right? So I did that, right, and it did end up working. It was, I guess, it was just to tell me, hey, don't worry. But they were like, yeah, they were like, yeah, we're like, you guys got dispatched from like Fort Leonard Wood or whatever it was. They're like, yeah, they sent us all the way across the state to stay here because they have to do vaccine research for COVID of all things, right? And they were all wearing masks and stuff, and there was like people from the army in the elevators, and the lady's like, "Sir, you need to wear your mask." And I'm like, "I, oh, no, what did she say?" I'm like, oh, I'm a civilian, you know, kind of thing. Oh, okay. Like the only person not from the army there. She's like, "What are you doing in this hotel?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing COVID vaccine research." Oh, okay. Like, I'm like, "No, I don't have to wear a mask. I'm doing vaccine research," is what I told her. She's like, "Oh, okay." Like the only person not in goddamn army fatigues or wearing a mask or anything. I'm like, I don't fucking. This is your guys' thing. I'm not fucking anything to do with this shit. So yes, I have gotten 5 stars in real life before. It's taking fucking forever to level. You can do stockades at like 14 or 15. I just feel like I need to gain a level for all this shit to be easier to kill for me.
Too far away. That spell isn't ready yet.
God damn it, dude. I see all these dots on the map here. They're all too high of a level. And these device trappers. Where do I turn the quest in at? This is a nightmare. Come on now. Right, right, right. So the lesson learned here is, yeah, I don't really know. What was the lesson? Always drive the speed limit? Don't eat cheese before noon? Yeah, there was a lesson here. Always getting bothered by the army for some reason. I don't know why. I really don't. Like, I am oblivious to what I did at some point in time during my life to get the army of all people's attention, despite the fact that in a million years they would never let me enlist. Like, so I don't understand. Like, yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I don't fucking know. Beats me. Why the army of all things?
That spell isn't ready yet.
Yeah. I have some interesting friends. We got some Null Paws and some Gore Tusk livers. It says a 30% chance, but for some reason, it isn't quite working like that, is it? Oh no. I don't think I have disease cleanse or anything, do I? Yikes. I'm like one level too low for all this shit. Would you say you're getting too old for this shit? No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't. It's getting too late for this shit, though. God damn it. Thank you. Cool. All the buffs that guy's got, like stamina, scrolls. Level 13s are a little harder to kill. Kill the thing that's level. Balls deep, you have the wrong elevator. No, balls deep was there. Balls deep knows. Balls deep was there for sure. In the flesh. Balls deep in the flesh. God, that Druid's like, he doesn't even take damage, dude. I didn't know that. Just trying to scrape by. All this buffs on that guy. 40 extra health from stamina. Yeah, that's not that much more. Fuck it. Come on now, I've killed all these things. I haven't gotten one Murloc eye. I've got Knoll Paws. They're all along the beach here. There's a bunch of crabs down this other way. What's the respawn timer? It's got level 11. That should normally take a half hour to get to level 10, right? Crab people. Took me forever to kill that one that was level 13. Looks like it wants to pull two of them. God damn it. All that hard work for one Murloc eye. I get probably done doing this shit when I get to level 11. This is taking fucking forever. I got stockades. Like, once I can start running instances and shit, it goes a lot smoother, but... I can do... group browser. I can just... where's instances, though? You can't do, create a listing. There's no group browser. You got some people wanting to build a god helmet, I already know. I already know. God damn it. Thank God, I'm like, 100 damage. This stuff is stressful. Oh my God, we finally got to that part. Thank God. All these fucking things are gonna aggro all this stuff. Yeah. So as much as it's like cops and robbers, right? There's a certain level of that, but no, it's like high stakes, whatever, you know. Because at the end of the day, it's like if you went to play cops and robbers with the FBI, there are real consequences. You know, it's not like, oh well, we all just shake hands at the end of it and go our separate ways. Like, yeah, no, some people wish it worked that way, but um, oh, I was just joking when I said and did all this shit. No, not at all. That's not how that works. I'll be right back. actually
See you
leveled.
around.
I need gore tusks livers. I cannot find the fucking things. There we go.
It's too far away. That's pretty impressive.
Uh huh. God, chicken thighs are so much better than chicken breast. Crazy. Put a little fat in my diet. People say like, oh, chicken breast for cutting and chicken thighs for bulking are like they're almost like the exact same amount of calories. You know what I mean? Especially if you trim off the fat and all that stuff. So like the difference is you want your food to taste a whole lot better and be almost the same amount of calories, pretty much. Like if you eat like a pound of chicken, it amounts to like 40 extra calories or something. I think that's not to say negligible, but not nearly as much as people pretend. fiery weapon for leveling is good. I think I'm gonna finish this quest, getting all these things here, and then we're gonna log on my actual character, something that's a little more exciting. This is alright. I might just log here, honestly. They want me to kill 30 of these fucking things? God damn it, there's a whole bunch. Fuck. Son of a bitch, doesn't one of these reset? Leave me alone. Good God, dude. Crit after crit after crit. Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Chicken thighs. Golly, tastes so much better. Man, oh man. just went through this, man. I didn't see that thing there. Shit. Please reset. Please reset. Don't throw it at me. You fucking serious? God damn it. That was another one there. Oh man, it's not looking good. I will tell them how you killed your parents, Jerry. I will tell them how you killed your parents. God damn it. Ah. What does that mean? Oh shit, I got distracted. Oh, it's got a. Let's see. guy. Sure. What does that mean? It's taking fucking forever. So, we're gonna log off on the road over here and log on my main character. It's just treacherous how long it takes to kill this shit. I'll be right back. Thank you, gamers. Sucks that you lose all that goddamn crit on Spell Strike Pants, but have more base intellect. See more stats. I don't know what's better, intellect or spell damage and crit. I had to come here and juggle these goddamn bowling pins or whatever to do these, get a daily quest or whatever. I gotta win these flowers. Where did he go? I already fucked that up. Where the fucking Shadow? Really? Oh man. Where the fuck is it? Blew myself up. Yeah, I can't see the shit. Quest timers. Well, that one fucking tricked me. Oh, I was about to say. Every time I talk to that guy, he talks about my wiener, and I'm like, it's a little inappropriate. Make sure. If this is all World of Warcraft was, it would still be worth like $5 or $6 a month. Fuck. Good God. Here, we're gonna buy some. If we do this every day, we can keep buying these. These foods don't disappear after the fact, right? And it costs 5. Fuck me, running this whole bunch. Flowers. Farm them up, bro. As many of them as you can get. All right. Shit. Fuck is Ahoon? Sure, then fuck it, whatever. Sure. Sure, can summon? Just trying to waste some time. Fucking. Oh, lame. Even if. Yeah, that's right. They fucking. Yeah, fucking Blizzard nerfed the goddamn. The goddamn thing. Or whatever. So you mean tell me I have to level this character manually? There's no point in time where my friend can, like, AoE down Zul'Farrak for me like I used to do 100 years ago? 100 years ago, Morty. The Robes off Ash didn't drop, and they're gonna go to Wado first, more than likely. The thing is, though, is I don't know if the robes are a big enough upgrade over the regular robes to justify breaking the 4-piece set bonus for the helmet, or vice versa, or whatever, however it works out. Because it's like 70 passive damage. It's almost always up. This is Steam Vaults, right? God damn it, this is Steam Vaults, the Underbog's the far right, the Slave Pens is the far left. Right? Yep. Oh, good God. The fuck? I don't know how to do this part. I'm terrible at the skips, dude. I have no clue. Why is all this shit different? What the fuck is going on here?
That spell isn't ready yet.
When did they add all this shit? And is this to prevent skips? I don't know who that is. I guess I don't know who that is.
I need a partner.
me a headache, all that bright lights and shit. Like, what the fuck? Oh wow, super cool. Got two innervates. Good God, I didn't know they stacked. He's resist. He's got a shit ton of resist, dude. I don't even have mage armor on, do I? Even with all the fucking shit going on, no mage armor, right? Double evocate, double innervate, rather. super good. Crazy that gear that good drops out of world events or whatever. I've never done any of this tabard of the fucking summer festival shit before. I don't know how new it is or not. Turns in here from the chest. Oh shit, turns in where? Ah, snap. I'm tired. That was crazy. I've never seen that before. Thune, his name is. I've never seen that before. champ. Yeah, I don't know how to do this. I don't know which one of these. Is it this one or that one? Yikes. Go that way. I am so terrible at skipping. This is regular. I walked into a heroic. Why the fuck is it? I remember seeing the skull on the thing and everything. Why on earth did it reset the normal? Where's the person I turned the shit in at? Here at this Pitfire, or whatever this thing is? Yes.
How may I aid you?
Yes, I did it.
Business conducted. May the eternal sun shine upon thee. We shall meet again.
I have a tabard now. Right. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm like, fucking, this is all new to me. Whatever. Oh. I guess I'm done for a while.